testified several hours before them and tell them and provide an update to them.
I'm going to interrupt you. Sorry. Hillary Clinton has just approached the podium to break her silence on this issue. Let's listen.
I'd like to say a few words and then take your questions. I have now seen Director Comey's letter to Congress. We are 11 days out from perhaps the most important national election of our lifetimes. Voting is already underway in our country. So the American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately. The director himself has said he doesn't know whether the emails referenced in his letter are significant or not. I'm confident, whatever they are, will not change the conclusion reached in July. Therefore, it's imperative that the Bureau explain this issue in question, whatever it is, without any delay. So I look forward to moving forward to focus on the important challenges facing the American people, winning on November 8th, and working with all Americans to build a better future for our country. Thank you.
Start with Julia right here. Have you or any of your advisors heard from Comey or anyone else at the FBI today? And are you concerned at all that these new emails that they say they've found will in any way reveal classified information that you sent or received?
No, we have not been contacted by anyone. First we knew about it is, I assume, when you knew about it, when this letter sent to Republican members of the House was released. So we don't know the facts, which is why we are calling on the FBI to release all the information that it has. Even Director Comey noted that this new information may not be significant, so let's get it out.
Secretary Clinton.
You have 11 days to go. What would you say to a voter who right now will be seeing you and hearing what you're saying, I didn't trust her before, I don't trust her anymore right now, and they're heading to the ballot box tomorrow?
You know, I think people a long time ago made up their minds about the emails. I think that's factored into what people think, and now they're choosing a president. So I would urge everybody to get out and vote early in all the states that have early voting, because I think Americans want a president who can lead our country, who can get the economy working for everyone, not just those at the top, and who can bring our country together. I offer that. I can do that. And I'm very confident that the American people know that. And we're going to continue to discuss what's at stake in this election, because I believe that it's one of the most consequential elections ever.
Secretary Clinton.
Thanks very much. Secretary Clinton, there are some reports that these emails were found on devices that belong to your aide, Huma Abedin, and her husband, Anthony Weiner. Have you spoken to Huma? Was she able to give you any information about that?
You know, we've heard these rumors. We don't know what to believe, and I'm sure there will be even more rumors. That's why it is incumbent upon the FBI to tell us what they're talking about, Jeff, because right now your guess is as good as mine, and I don't think that's good enough. So we've made it very clear that if they're going to be sending this kind of letter that is only going originally to Republican members of the House, that they need to share whatever facts they claim to have with the American people. And that's what I expect to happen.
Okay, thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you all.
From Weiner.
All right, they're trying to get more questions in. You saw Hillary Clinton taking just a few questions there from reporters, really putting this on the FBI. She's clearly angry that the FBI hasn't put out the details they have from the email, saying they need to put that information out, echoing what her campaign chairman, John Podesta, said earlier today. And in response to one question, you heard what she said about what's in the emails. Your guess is as good as mine, and I don't think that's enough. Mark Preston is out front with me now, our executive editor for politics, Jeffrey Toobin, our senior legal analyst, former federal prosecutor David Gergen, who served as advisor to 4 presidents, and Tom Fuentes, former FBI assistant director. Let me just start with you, Mark Preston. What do you make of her strategy? This is going on offense. This is, come on, FBI. Right. You say you got something, put it out there, or I have nothing to say.
Well, we know Huma Abedin was traveling with her today to Iowa, and from what our reporting is telling us is that, in fact, it was a shared device that was with that Huma was using with her husband, Anthony Weiner. I suspect they do have an idea of what Huma had forwarded, as we suspect, to these devices. So, look, a very good defense is a strong offense. And the fact of the matter is probably, I shouldn't say probably, there's a chance that this doesn't necessarily touch Hillary Clinton, other than the fact that one of her aides might have done something that was wrong.
Can I just add, we can argue that it's a clever strategy to take the offense. One thing that we know almost for sure is that the FBI is not going to release any more information for the next 11 days, because this is an issue about classified information. Classified information.
They can't just throw them out there, then the world could see classified emails, right?
That's right. What they have to do first is go to the FBI, go to the CIA, and say, is this classified? Is this inappropriate material? That's a process that takes a long time. So you know, this is a clever challenge to the FBI.
Yeah.
All but certain not to be answered.
So, Tom Fuentes, let me ask you, because you know, so you just heard what Hillary Clinton just said. It's imperative for the director to explain himself, incumbent on the FBI to tell us. Is there any chance in the next 11 days that Director Comey is going to say, okay, here's what I'm talking about, here's the emails, here's who sent them, here's who received them?
I agree with Jeffrey Toobin. I would be shocked if Director Comey or the FBI issues any additional details about the reopening of the investigation or what's related to it, or any of the information they have at hand. And it will take a long time. If there was classified material in the material that was on the device, now you have an additional person that wasn't part of the original investigation that they're now learning, Andrew Weiner, that he was looking at or had access to look at material that may have been classified. So that's another element of the investigation. And there may be other messages on her devices that they weren't aware of before, and that adds to a new element or a new avenue of investigation that wasn't being pursued in the first place.
And this is, of course, something, by the way, Donald Trump a long time ago had raised this issue of Huma Abedin and Anthony Weiner perhaps sharing classified information. We're going to get to that later, but Jeff Zeleny back with us now. Jeff, you were in the room. You know, one thing I noticed, obviously it was an incredibly brief statement, incredibly brief answers, and she only took a few questions. She had a smile, but she seemed very angry, and it was a very tense moment. What was it like in the room?
I don't know if I would say angry as much, Aaron, as wanting to sort of, get on the record about this and really echo what her campaign chairman, John Podesta, said earlier about this, really calling on the FBI to release more information. But she answered virtually no questions. I mean, she took questions, but she certainly did not say anything at all about the question about Huma Abedin, that our law enforcement sources are telling our colleagues here that it is her device or Anthony Weiner's device. She did not answer that at all. And one thing, Aaron, you did not see on camera was when she was walking out of the room, one of my colleagues asked a question if she was afraid that this would sink her campaign. She laughed, as she often does when she's asked something that she does not want to answer. It was sort of a defiant laugh, I guess is how I would describe it. But look, this is just something that they wanted to, I'm told by one advisor, to inject themselves into the conversation and bloodstream and really put out a call to Democrats here to make it look like this is part of this partisan inquiry that's been going on all along here. But this comes as Donald Trump is going to also be here in Iowa within the hour, surely addressing this when he speaks in Cedar Rapids. So they tried to add her voice to that, Aaron, but I'm not sure it answered many questions. Perhaps it just left the ones we already had still hanging out there.
Yeah, I mean, David Gergen, no questions answered. And you heard, Jeff Zeleny using the word when a reporter asked, is the end, she laughed, gave a defiant laugh, as he described it.
Absolutely. But listen, let's go back to the beginning of this. First of all, I think it's important to set a foundation, and that is, from my point of view, the FBI did the right thing when it revealed its investigation and went as public as it did early on. Having done that, when it discovered this new trove of emails, it seems to me that Director Comey did exactly the right thing. He had to go public. Otherwise, he would have been accused after this election of hiding it from the voters who had a right to know before the election. The Republicans would have had a very strong charge against him. So I think up until this point, he's done the right thing. But I must tell you in the same breath that it seems to me Mrs. Clinton and John Podesta are right. We've been left dangling by the Justice Department, by the FBI right now on what's involved here, what's really going on. I think at minimum they ought to identify how many real emails we're talking about. They ought to give us some sense. Huma Abedin was her aide. There's likely to be a lot of emails here that are not about national security, but rather about logistical details of running the State Department, and being secretary. So we need to know, are the bulk of these emails very personal and very business related, or the bulk of them, do they have national security? We shouldn't be left as dangling as this. I just disagree that this is the last we should hear from the FBI.
All right, a lot of questions on that, but Evan Perez, let me just give you a chance to answer this. What is the FBI director going to do? I mean, you heard Jeff say he can't come out and give more information. Will he? Will he even do what David Gergen said, give us a sense of how many emails we're talking about or anything?
Well, that's one of the things I think that's behind closed doors at the FBI headquarters that they're thinking about is that you have to think that when Hillary Clinton comes out, and also, by the way, Republicans are also asking for more information because they believe that there should be some more information put out here. He sent this 3-paragraph letter, which really left more questions than it provided answers. So, look, he's been getting criticized by Donald Trump. They've called him a lackey. They've said that the FBI was corrupted by the Obama administration and by the Clintons. And now we have the Democrats. Dianne Feinstein sent a very tough letter tonight in which she's called it appalling that the FBI director would violate what she said was the tradition to not inject itself just a few days before an election. So obviously there's a lot of pressure here. He's withstood it so far. It's been a very tough period for Comey and for the FBI. We'll see whether or not this changes anything. I'm not sure that it will.
Mark, what do you think? I mean, obviously,
look, there's the law enforcement reality of how the FBI operates and how Comey doesn't really want to get drawn into this other than trying to do his job. There's the political reality, though. Let's just take 2 test cases. This test case right now, where this comes out at around like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock this afternoon, Hillary Clinton addresses it by 7 o'clock. Okay, a strong offense. Doesn't necessarily answer any questions, but had she gone into hiding, she would have looked like she's hiding something. Donald Trump.
So you don't think that the delay of six or so hours that was not a long delay in your mind? That was
in this campaign, absolutely not. I mean, given the sensitive nature of this, Donald Trump, the Access Hollywood tape, took them the whole day until midnight.
Right, midnight when he came out
to
with his
address that. So listen, I'm just saying that I think the political reality, whether or not she answered questions, getting in front of a camera though, they had to do that.
So, Tom Fuentes, what does the FBI do next here? What does Comey do?
Question. I know it's an ongoing debate at FBI headquarters right now. I've talked to several officials about it. And, in terms of FBI policy, Director Comey deviated from normal policy back in July when he announced the closing of the investigation before even sending it to Department of Justice prosecutors for a determination of whether it should be prosecuted. So now he's kind of, painted himself into a corner where he had to deviate again to say, wait, we've got new information and we're going to take another look at this. So, I think they've been talking about how to stop the bleeding for a while at FBI headquarters, especially much of the reporting that's come out that's been untrue. For example, the reporting that Cheryl Mills' laptops, they made an agreement with her, they looked at her laptops and then destroyed them and destroyed evidence afterward. That's not true. Not one computer or laptop or device has been destroyed by the FBI or any of the owners with permission of the FBI in this investigation. So that was false reporting. And there's a number of aspects that have been like that where they're debating what to do about addressing the information.
There is an informal but widely recognized FBI policy that you don't make a politically sensitive announcement within 60 days of an election. Here we are 11 days away. If he says something else 10 days, 7 days, 6 days before an election, there is nothing he can say that would resolve this issue.
That's true.
They will only.
Let me just go back, Aaron.
Jeffrey, part of the concern of the FBI is that they feel that the Clinton staff delayed this for a long time, obstructed the release of messages and all of that, and caused this investigation to be started late, and now it comes up at this stage right before the election, that it could have been investigated a year and a half earlier and put away much earlier, and now they're faced with this situation that it's right before the election day.
Because David, what are they supposed to do? They find out about thousands more emails. We don't know how many. That's the number being thrown about thousands more emails. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Say nothing? I mean, he can't say nothing.
Well, You can't say nothing. But let me just say this. Look, it's inconsistent for the FBI to be leaking things, to have individuals from the FBI leaking things to reporters, and to say, no, Director Comey can't say anything. They ought to speak with one voice. Director Comey ought to give us more information. He cannot leave this country in an obsessed sense of mystery about what this is all about. It is unfair to the voters. It's unfair to both parties. They have to tell us everything they know. It just seems to me that's clear and obvious that you can't leave the country dangling on the eve of an election with something which is so sensitive.
Jeff,
Having opened it up, they have to deal with it.
So, all right, let's say they put out how many emails they are, but they don't know how many, if they're classified or not. They can't release them specifically because some of it could be classified. So, Jeff Toobin, let's just say this goes till after the election. Let's say she wins. What happens then? They have to continue it. What if this is something that truly is a bombshell? Then what?
Then Jim Comey says the Department of Justice needs to appoint an independent counsel, a special prosecutor. I mean, certainly this cannot be investigated further if Hillary Clinton is the president of the United States. If Jim Comey feels that this needs to be criminally investigated more fully, it has to go to an independent counsel. And there is a long tradition, whether it's in Watergate or Iran-Contra, of independent counsels, special prosecutors, and that's what would have to happen.
You know, forgive me for not knowing if this has happened in the last 2 or 3 minutes because this is moving so quickly. Yeah. I can't believe we haven't heard from the House Republicans right now saying they're going to be holding hearings Monday on this. Like, I can't believe again, political play, but Jeffrey, we've already heard Jathan Chafetz say in the last 72 hours that he has 2 years worth of investigations he's going to launch against Hillary Clinton.
Given the political skill demonstrated by the House Republicans in the Benghazi committee, the best thing that could happen to Hillary Clinton is having more hearings with people who have an obvious agenda of trying to defeat her.
They would be smart to not do that.
Well, but they're going to do it.
All right. Well, thank you. All staying.
But isn't there one other element here?
Jathan, we're going to be back right after the break. Sorry, right after a break. We're going to squeeze one in here as the breaking news coverage continues. Donald Trump is about to take the stage at a rally in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, just a couple hours away from where you just heard Hillary Clinton break her silence. Plus, even before today's news, a tracking poll showed Trump closing in on Clinton every day this week.